Bro, imagine you 27, you work in a salary job, you pay your car note, your rent, insurance, your light bill, water bill, gas bill, all your other expenses now. And you struggling to do that. Now, imagine someone expecting you to pay theirs as well, and dates, and buy gifts. And then, if you don't do that, you get blasted, and they say you are not being a man. There's a reason now 80% of men are not trying to date and are staying single right now. Be honest. It's crazy. Crazy.
Kings, he did the maths out loud so nobody could argue with it. One income, every bill, every expense, fully covered. Then add her bills, her dates, her gifts. And if you fall short, you are not a man. As the African proverb says, do not set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. A king who has built his financial discipline protects it, not out of selfishness, out of sense. 80% already figured it out. Welcome to the movement.
I don't know, are you guys wondering why so many men are single right now? That's because women don't need them anymore. Women are no longer settling for the things that they used to. So if we have women providing and protecting themselves, what exactly does the man bring to the table? Yeah.
Bold question. Boldly timed. Asked right before the next few clips show us exactly what not needing men looks like in practice. Kings, a man who has built himself never needs to argue his value. The evidence speaks. Stay tuned.
Being broke and single in this current economy is honestly terrifying. To feel like you're being punished just because no one wants to be with you, as if that's not bad enough, is really sad. I can't afford anything. It's just really negatively affecting my life. Like, my physical health is just down. I'm gaining weight. My mental health is in the toilet. I cry every day. I'm literally sitting on the floor right now, just rock bottom, stuck in survival mode. On days that I have off, I don't even leave my house. I just sit here and dissociate or cry. And I am applying. I'm looking for other jobs or for a second job, and there's just nothing out there. And I've even looked at like Trader Joe's, and there's nothing available. It's just like, we shouldn't living should not be this way. And I know I'm just stating the obvious. Everybody knows this. Like, we should be able to make living affordable wages whether we're single or not. But I'm just really depressed and I'm really scared. And I don't know what to do.
She said living should not be this way, and she is right. But Kings, notice who she is not calling. Not a man, not a partner, because she does not need one, remember? The African proverb says, the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Independence was chosen loudly. The consequences arrived quietly.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all four brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off, like, your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped. And I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event and now I'm going to be all puffy. Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
I need a husband just so I can afford to live. She said it herself, Kings. Not for love, not for connection, for the split bill. Somewhere out there, a man she called a bare minimum provider is living peacefully and splitting nothing. The irony is loud. We will let it speak.
So for all the men out there who are like, oh, women don't want to chase us anymore because they're all boss babing their way through life and they're financially independent. Most of us are broke as fuck. Most women like myself are struggling financially in this economy. Half of my wage goes towards rent. And despite this, many women still don't want to find a man. Not because they're thriving. I'm certainly not thriving. I'm fucking flirting with financial ruin. But would rather be broke and alone than with you going 50-50, putting up with your bullshit and giving us the bare minimum. We are over it.
Flirting with financial ruin. Her words. And still, 50-50 is off the table. A man must cover more or stay away. Kings, a woman who would rather go broke than share the load equally has already told you everything you need to know. File it. Move accordingly.
Let's talk about single women, money, and happiness. A new survey came out from Ally Bank that basically found that single women report significantly higher life satisfaction than single men. However, they are also significantly more likely to worry about money on a daily basis. And I actually think that kind of contradiction makes a lot of sense. There are plenty of reasons why single women feel very content. I won't get into those now, but there's tons of information out there about that. But I want to talk about the money piece, where I feel like a lot of the stress that a lot of single women feel is a very rational response to a system that was completely designed for dual income households. And while obviously, if you look decades back, we've made a ton of progress in single women being able to build their own lives financially and survive financially without needing a partner. However, the gender pay gap is still a thing. And also, like I said before, our policies and products are often designed to assume two incomes. If you think about it, like housing is often priced for two incomes. The tax code provides a lot of structural advantages for married couples, things like insurance premiums. Even the way the grocery stores package food in America, it's very much built for more than one person. And when you don't have a partner, a lot of financial decisions carry a lot more weight because it is completely on your shoulders. And, the system really penalizes, a lot of single people, especially single women, for potentially making their own lifestyle choice that is against the statistical norm. And because there isn't as much of a social safety net, especially in America, women are forced to shoulder the burden of potentially preparing for any sort of financial emergency or thing like that. Any single person would have to do that. And so I think, again, that's a really good example of, when you intentionally choose to go at it alone, you are forced to, have different money behaviors than, say, a couple would. You might not be able to take as many risks as somebody in a couple would. And I think it's a really interesting way of looking at how external factors and even personal decisions can wildly shape your financial future and how you spend and save.
She is not wrong. The system favors two incomes. But Kings, that same system is the reason a man who builds multiple income streams, invests early, and spends intentionally becomes untouchable. Knowledge is like a garden. If not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Build the financial garden now. Nobody is coming to water it for you.
Why are the men so confused that we like being single? I just saw this TikTok from this guy named Kevin, and he's like, why do women promote singleness so much? And he says, when I'm in a relationship, I operate so much more effectively. Is that the mental and emotional labor that she was doing for you? Sounds like it. Is that the reason that she's no longer around? Possibly. But for the first time in history, right, men have to compete not just with other men, right, but also with a woman's alone time and with the life that she has created for herself. And they are not coping well with that. They don't seem to understand that we like being alone. We have hobbies, we have friends, we have interests. We're outperforming them in education. We don't need a relationship. We no longer need to have a man in our life in order to get something like a credit card, a bank account, own a house. We can do all of that stuff ourselves. So if a man is not adding to your life now, you don't need him. This was not the case 50 years ago. 50 years ago, a woman couldn't have a credit card. So, I mean, I love my partner and everything. Whenever I make these videos, men in the comments assume that I'm single for some reason. I'm not. I did love being single, though. I will say that. Being single was awesome. My life now, also awesome. Why do they think we only hear about the male loneliness epidemic? Because women don't see singleness as loneliness. Because it's not. Make some friends, get a hobby. Learn to enjoy time with yourself. Being alone is awesome. What? Why are they so confused by this?
She is right about one thing. A man should never be competing with a woman's alone time. A king who is building his life is also not competing with anyone. He is simply becoming. As the African proverb says, the forest would be silent if no bird sang except the one that sang best. Be that bird, king. Let the noise sort itself out. But stay with us. Because the next clip is a man who already figured this out, and it is making women very uncomfortable.
Being single as a man and only having to worry about yourself is very peaceful. Women are an expense. You have to provide for them and you have to take care of them. And in return, they don't do what they're supposed to do. They want to take, but they don't want to give. So it's better to stay single. And if you have one of those women who actually contributes to the relationship and you're happy with it, just make sure she doesn't make more money than you, because then she's going to resent you and leave your ass anyways. So you just can't win if you're in a relationship. The only way to win and be at peace and enjoy life is to be single as a man.
Peaceful, focused, unbothered. Kings, he is not bitter. He is budgeted. There is a difference. The man who has removed unnecessary expenses from his financial and emotional life operates at a completely different level. Lighter, sharper, free. And if you are building that life right now, this channel was made for you. Hit subscribe and stay in the room with men who are moving with purpose.
Women are scared of happily single men. You want to know why? Let's get into it. Being happily single as a man makes you more appealing. Men that don't need to be in a relationship. Men that have high standards. Men that don't chase women. They chase in purpose. This makes women think, wonder if that man is actually interested in them, and will in turn, y'all listen to this, increase the value of that man and his expressed interest in their mind.
She just described the kings watching this video. Not chasing, not needing, just building. And somehow that is the most attractive thing in the room. As the African proverb says, calm water does not mean there are no crocodiles. The quiet king is the most dangerous one in the building.
Why a lot of men love being single. So ladies, if you're watching this, this is what you're up against and what you're competing against. 1, he can enjoy all of his hobbies without being nagged or put down or his hobbies made fun of. His friends might lightly tease him, but for the most part, they're probably into the same hobbies he is, and he's gonna have so much fun with them. So if you're in a relationship with a man, make sure you show full support for his hobbies. 2, he doesn't have to worry about financially serving anybody. Unfortunately, for a lot of men, relationships are insanely expensive. There's always that joke that he went to the restaurant without his girlfriend and he only had to spend like $10. Whereas with his girlfriend, he would have spent 50. Now that's probably an exaggeration, but you get what I'm getting at. And next, they can live and decorate the way they want to. They don't feel the need to have all these weird items around the house for no apparent purpose other than to collect dust. They can have that simple minimalist setup that looks clean and beautiful, and it's effortless to maintain.
She listed the benefits of being a king and called it a warning to women. Hobbies respected, finances protected, space maintained, life lived on his terms. Kings, she accidentally made the best case for the single life we have heard all video. We appreciate her contribution.
So let me pick up where I left off. Fellas, you keep saying, I'd rather stay single. Women are too much. I don't need the headache. I get it, but let's be real. That is crap. You don't actually want to die alone with a freaking gaming console and a fridge full of frozen pizza. You don't, because guess what? Biology doesn't lie. Men and women were designed for each other. That is masculine and feminine polarity. That's not just some TikTok buzzword. That is nature. That's why when you're with the right woman, everything in your life sharpens. Your drive, your purpose, your discipline, everything. Now, sure, being single is easy. No drama, no compromise, no responsibility. But easy gets old. The hookups get boring. The soulless sex gets depressing. The silence in your house starts getting loud. And then what? You're 40, 50, 60 years old. Nobody by your side. Nobody in your bed. Nobody to build with. That is not freedom. That's failure. Here's the truth. Men need women and women need men. That's a beautiful balance. That's order. That's how we're wired. The problem, though, is too many men give up before they figure us out. They throw their hands up like it's too complicated instead of leaning in and cracking the damn code. When you do crack the code, life gets great. You get respect. You get loyalty. You get passion. You get peace in your home and fire in your bedroom. That's not a bad deal if you ask me. That's a jackpot. So stop lying to yourself that staying single forever is the move. It's not. Master your woman. Don't run from her, because the man who figures out his woman is the man who truly wins at life.
She made some fair points wrapped in a guilt trip. Kings, nobody here is saying be alone forever. The goal is to be so built, so grounded, so complete in yourself that when the right person arrives, you are choosing from strength, not desperation, not loneliness. Strength. A man who figures himself out first always figures his woman out easier. Get the order right.
One thing that is not talked about enough is how there's going to be a population decline in like the next 10 years. Because there are so many beautiful men and women out there that are not dating anyone. I'm going to be talking about this from my point of view and from a girl's side of things. Every single couple that I meet in today's age, they have met on a dating app. Now, once in a blue moon, do I hear like, oh, we were high school sweethearts or something? But for majority, no. It is all through a dating app. And for those people who are in relationships, shout out to you. Honestly, you're amazing. Good for you that like all these dating apps worked for you. But for a good chunk of individuals, dating apps just aren't the thing for everyone, no matter what the reason might be. Now, for myself, I hate texting. I feel as though that I am a big talker. So when I go on a dating app and like trying to start up a conversation, get to know someone via text does not work. The other option we have is to meet people organically, out and about in the real world. But honestly, that is very funny because it does not happen whatsoever. So this is where we're gonna see a population decrease because no one talks to each other anymore and like tries to make a move in person, if that makes sense. I'm 24 years old and I have never had a boyfriend. And I think I'm like the perfect case study for this entire topic because I'm a girl who in high school was a part of sports teams, also was in the performing arts, was working like 3 jobs. And I went to a 4-year undergraduate university, dormed there, lived the whole college experience, went out and everything, had the whole shebang, rah rah, and nothing happened. Now I am 1 year post-grad, which is so freaking weird, and I have been at home in the same exact spot working. I work full-time as a bartender, the place where you think you would be able to meet people, and on top of it, I'm traveling, I'm going out, I'm living my best life, and nothing ever comes of it. Now, this isn't supposed to be like some sad sob story. I'm not the only one that this happens to. Like, I have so many friends that are in the same exact position. So to anyone feeling like you're the problem, it's not you, it's everyone. There is so many people in this world feeling the same exact way, that I've never had a boyfriend. Am I weird for this? No, you're not. Something's in the air, and I feel like people are not pursuing it as much as they should be, because nobody wants to be alone. Everyone would love to have a partner in life. And if we continue at this rate, we're simply going to see a world where no one is in a relationship, and the birth rate is going to be the lowest it's ever been.
She lived the full life, ticked every box, and still nothing. Kings, we close here, and we close clearly. This is not a sad story. This is a signal. The man who moves with intention, who approaches with confidence, and handles any outcome with dignity, he is rare now. And rare things are valuable. As the African proverb says, the wise do not sit and wait for good things. They rise and walk toward them. Rise, King. Build, move with purpose, and let everything else follow. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with a man who needs to hear this. Subscribe and hit the notifications bell to stay updated. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.